Awesome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our NSIN Emerge Summer Showcase event. Super excited to have you all here. My name is Jillian Winstanley, and I'm the program manager on the Decode side for our current Emerge cohort. Again, super thrilled to have you all joining us here today as we celebrate our 17 dual-use technology companies who have spent the last 10 weeks preparing for this very day and this very event. I'll be back momentarily to share more detail on the agenda and run of show for today. But first, we have a few special guests in the audience that would like to deliver a few opening remarks to you all. So I'll start first by turning it over to Andrew from NSIN to lead us in a welcome message from the NSIN side.
Yes, thank you, Jillian. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for all the teams today. Welcome, everybody. I'm Andrew Oury. I am the NSIN program manager for the Emerge Accelerator program, which is what these teams have just participated in. This is their final official day. First, I'll start with a few thank yous. I want to thank Decode, of course, for running this showcase. This is the culmination of 10 weeks of hard work with these teams, and the final product is what you get to enjoy today. I also want to thank One Defense for supporting these teams throughout and for actively helping us pioneer new ways to discover revolutionary IP and match that IP to DoD demand. I want to thank the teams who put in time despite their busy schedules and have endeavored to turn their IP into a business, not just for the commercial market, but also the DoD, despite high barriers to entry. Most of all, I want to thank you, the audience members, for taking a chance to spend your time attending this pitch day when it seems like these days there are pitch days everywhere. Here's why you should stay. First, the pitches are only 5 minutes long and there's no Q&A. So if a venture or its technology isn't for you, just wait 5 minutes. Second, this isn't just a pitch day. There's a whole hour of time blocked out at the end of our pitches to visit these ventures booths and speak with them live. Even better, if you don't want to wait for the last hour, you can message these teams after they're done pitching in their respective Zoom rooms and then coordinate to go over to their booth and talk to them while the other teams are still pitching, if you can't wait. Third, this is the only pitch day I know of where you have ventures with hand-picked IP from across our nation's universities so focused on solving problems for a DoD audience and a commercial audience. You'll see amazing things today, like a low-skill way to stop non-compressible torso bleeding, a domestically produced replacement for latex, and an expert-built solution to boost 5G communications with AI. Just to name 3. I apologize to the other 14 teams I didn't just mention. I love you all the same, but these are the 3 I chose for my teaser. Audience members, you're welcome to be here for pure entertainment value, but if anything resonates with you today and you think to yourself, I think I can help that team, please do. Thank you all again, and I can't wait to get started. Next, however, to speak to you about NSIN in general and why we have a program like Emerge, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the NSIN Acceleration Portfolio Director, also the Director of Research, and my government boss, Abigail Dejardin.
Thanks, Andrew. It's going to be hard to follow your remarks. So thank you everyone for being here today. As Andrew mentioned, I'm Abigail Dejardin, and I sit within NSIN's Acceleration Portfolio, which is a program office within the Department of Defense, Research, and Engineering. We have a mission to build networks of innovators and problem solvers to generate new solutions to national security problems. All of our activities at NSIN are focused on tapping into communities of problem solvers who have typically been out of reach by the department. This is based on a fundamental belief that we're in a complex, rapidly advancing world, and the rate of change and innovation within the department is not keeping pace with our adversaries. We believe that if we, the Department of Defense, want to maintain resilience, leverage emerging technologies, and solve problems differently, we need to incorporate new problem solvers. We recognize that there exists amazing talent and technology within our universities, and we should make a much more deliberate effort to accelerate that technology and the individuals around that technology into the dual use market. Emerge, as Andrew mentioned, is one of our programs that seeks to do just that. We've sought to establish T2 partnerships with universities to spin out new dual use ventures based on university IP that corresponds to the DoD's urgent and critical areas of technology development. We have been thrilled with the level of interest in this pilot program. For this cohort, and the last cohort, we received over 223 teams that were nominated by 18 universities from across the United States. It's a really competitive field for us, and we've been really excited with what we have seen come out so far. And we are really excited to hear your pitches today and to continue to watch you grow as you navigate your path towards bringing transformative solutions to the Department of Defense into the commercial sector. And with that, I'll turn it back over.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew and Abby. Next, I'd like to briefly introduce our CEO here at Decode, Megan Metzger, who will also share a few words as well about the significance of today's event.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to see all of your faces. I cannot wait to hear all the pitches. And I wanted to just give a quick remark and maybe start with a little bit of background on Decode's mission and why we're so excited to be here today. Decode started about 6 years ago, really focused on the similar problem to what Abby just talked about, which is the emerging technology market and private sector technology rate of change was so incredibly fast that the DoD and the government at large was not taking advantage of it. And that's a huge disservice to our soldiers and to our citizens. And at the end of the day, it's not about shiny new technologies. It really is about the competition that we are entering. I can tell you it's unfair, right? We are competing against countries where their morals and their ethics are very different, allowing them to move through things like artificial intelligence at a different rate. But those same unfair advantages are the exact things that we want to fight for and preserve. And that's what we are all focused on today. So when I think about this problem, it's not just those commercial technologies that are coming out of Silicon Valley, right? Most of those start from really fantastic IP that is coming out of our top universities. And there's nothing more exciting than taking advantage of that IP and putting it into the most critical pressing problems that we have inside the DoD today. So everyone here has a role to play today. As you heard, as Andrew said, this is not just a demo day. There's so much more here. So if you are one of the teams that made it to demo day, congratulations, and it's just getting started. Starting a company is no freaking joke. I can tell you that from firsthand experience. But keep dreaming, keep working hard, and don't give up. We can do really hard things, and you have great teams to support you. And the work you're doing, it matters, and it will change the way our country runs. If you're in the audience, if you are a partner, or if you are in the government, don't just watch and be amazed at what you see. Think about where you can help put this into our missions and really leapfrog the DoD forward, not just 1 year, but maybe even 5 or more. Everyone here can help the country, and everyone here has a critical role to play. And I can't wait to see all the creative solutions that are going to blow your minds come out of today's opportunity to connect. So again, if you made it to today, congratulations. Best of luck. Pitching in 5 minutes is wicked hard, but we can do hard things, and best wishes. I can't wait to see it. Over to you, Jillian.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Megan. So now the moment you've all been waiting for, the showcase today will be split into 3 different parts, which I'll overview very briefly here for you all. First, in a moment, we'll be inviting 6 of our Emerge companies to deliver their 5-minute federally facing pitch up here on the main stage. Following those initial 6 pitches, you'll be invited to return to the Philo platform and open one of our tech-based substages to watch the remaining companies pitch. We'll have 2 substages today that you can choose from. The first is pitches on health tech, sensing, and communications. The second will be pitches related to energy, materials, and maintenance. And then finally, as Andrew alluded to during the last hour of our event from 2:30 to 3:30 Eastern, our virtual conference floor will be open. And you'll notice on Philo that each of our 17 teams have their own customized booth that they developed. And not only do these booths contain things like their pitch deck, their 2-pager, or ways to meet with them after today's event, they also contain a Zoom link, just like the one you dialed into today, where you'll have the opportunity to meet with them one-on-one for the last hour of today's event. If at any point a team especially piques your interest, as Andrew mentioned as well, you're more than welcome to message them directly via Philo to coordinate a time to meet with them in their booths. And without further ado, would like to introduce the first of our 6 teams pitching here on the main stage, which will be Team Lionheart Medical. So Joe and the Lionheart team, whenever you're ready, feel free to take it away. No, Joe, I don't think we
Joe,
can.
we're not getting your audio.
Do you hear me?
Yes, you're good now.
Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you for this opportunity to present on behalf of Lionheart Medical, a university startup to develop our TIBO technology to help manage non-compressible torso hemorrhage or uncontrollable internal bleeding. We represent a collaboration between our university's School of Medicine, School of Engineering, and the Systems Shock Trauma Center. The clinical need is stop the bleed. Hemorrhage or bleeding is a leading cause of death and severe morbidity in the United States and throughout the world. Uncontrolled bleeding in a patient's torso is called non-compressible torso hemorrhage. Published data from our recent military conflicts in the Mideast, in addition to other civilian emergency medical experiences, has shown that hemorrhage is the leading cause of preventable death. The driver of developing this technology and device is to reduce the burden of preventable death and other complications associated with internal bleeding and traumatic injury. There is a large number of patients who present with such life-threatening bleeding, including about 120,000 patients in the United States and 3.6 million patients worldwide, of whom about 50% die, or about 60,000 patients in the United States and 1.8 million patients worldwide. The solution to this problem is TIBO, the transesophageal blood flow occluder, to manage non-compressible internal bleeding, optimize and extend the golden hour, and help patients reach definitive care to repair the source of bleeding. It provides a rapid, simplified approach to a complex, time-sensitive, and potentially lethal condition. It eliminates the need for specialized surgeons and doctors in the field, and its ability to provide such early control of life-threatening bleeding will improve patient survival. It's designed to plug the hole and control internal blood loss. Through a compression mechanism deployed at the critical anatomic choke point called the esophageal hiatus, highlighted by the yellow arrow, the main inflow conduit carrying blood, called the aorta, is compressed, which limits further blood loss, preventing the patient from bleeding to death. The device is placed and deployed in a patient just like other low-tech medical devices, such as oral gastric tubes and procedural scopes that are routinely placed by non-physicians, such as nurses, PAs, and procedural technicians. It's non-invasive, portable, and low risk. When the device actuator is deployed, it compresses the underlying aorta and controls bleeding. This improves upon the current available techniques to stop such bleeding, which, however, requires highly trained surgeons and medical professionals to perform demanding technical procedures that involve the direct instrumentation of large arteries in difficult and austere environments. Failure to obtain early control of such life-threatening bleeding contributes to higher mortality and increased complications such as infection, length of stay, and cost. Currently, our technology is at a TRL level 4, with an early prototype pictured here that has validated the proof of concept for this bleeding control strategy in a cadaver model, as seen in the lower right-hand picture, which shows transesophageal aortic compression. It's a Class 2 device for which we plan on pursuing FDA approval through a 510(k) pre-market notification pathway. Our next steps over the upcoming 12 to 24 months includes optimizing the prototype design and achieving a design freeze, starting the FDA 510(k) approval process with a pre-submission meeting, then based on FDA feedback from this pre-submission meeting, start preclinical and clinical testing of the device in animal and human models. We are a university startup that was established in October 2020 and have a multidisciplinary team of doctors, engineers, and commercialization strategists. We've raised about $500,000 and are supported by our university's Office of Technology and Development, the state of Maryland, and the DoD. We are seeking funding that will enable us to achieve the milestone of a design freeze and completion of initial preclinical testing. We're also planning on recruiting an experienced executive team with a track record of successful device commercialization. We also hope to create partnerships with other entities that can help us license and develop this novel product and accelerate its delivery to the bedside. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Joe.
You're welcome. Pleasure.
If anyone is interested in meeting with Joe, feel free to shoot him a message, or we'll have time at the booths at the end. With that, you can go ahead and stop share. And next we have Titan Bioworks.
Okay, slides and audio good?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you, and thank you all for being here today. A technology that could improve the wearability of bulletproof gear for the American warfighter, create tough and even self-healing sutures and surgical meshes, and perhaps most remarkably, even make highly processed foods like MREs and space food have a taste and texture a little bit more like a home-cooked meal. My name is Cameron Sargent, and today I'll be telling you about our team at Titan Bioworks and the technology that we think just might be able to help with these challenges faced by the military, the government, and society at large. We are an early stage R&D company looking not only for funding, but also strategic partners and advisors to help us navigate production scale up and market exploration. For thousands of years, society has used microbial fermentation to produce important foods, beverages, therapeutics, and more. Recently, rapid growth in the cutting edge field of synthetic biology has enabled labs and companies like those listed here to greatly expand the diversity of fermentation products to include things like biofuels and fragrances. However, most successes so far have been in producing relatively small chemicals. These small chemicals are great to eat and drink, but in order to create materials, we need very large chemicals called polymers. Most high-performance polymer materials that we use today are produced using fossil fuels. While these are cheap and can be produced in large quantities, we also know that they come with a high cost on the health of our planet. Speaking of our planet, nature has provided a vast array of incredible materials. Many of these are composed of proteins, but relatively few of these, and particularly the best ones, can be harvested efficiently enough to be of any commercial use. However, modern advances in biotechnology give us hope that if we could develop a platform that overcomes current challenges in using microbes to produce the very large, very repetitive proteins required to make these natural materials, we could leverage the sustainability and scalability that have already been demonstrated with microbial fermentation to open the doors to an entirely new way of creating high-performance biomaterials. At Titan Bioworks, we believe that we have the first breakthrough technology to overcome these hurdles in the fermentation of protein polymer materials. Using our proprietary polymerization platform, we can produce protein polymers up to or even exceeding the size of those made using organic synthesis or found in the natural world, and then process those into fibers, gels, and other materials. While we have employed our platform to produce a variety of protein materials, we are most excited about the fibers that we've manufactured using Titan, the largest known protein in nature that acts as a molecular spring inside our muscles. Our Titan polymer fibers, are strong and incredibly tough and have an unprecedented ability to dissipate mechanical energy as heat, providing a significant cost advantage and enabling more applications. They can also be processed using water in place of the many toxic, flammable, and even explosive organic solvents used extensively in the polymers industry. Our fibers have also displayed a form of regeneration in water. They are lightweight and flexible and would be biocompatible and biodegradable. We have identified multiple government use cases for our technology that also have multi-billion-dollar commercial markets as well. So far, the potential application that has gained the most traction is in using our material as a food additive to improve the texture and mouthfeel of highly processed foods such as MREs, space food, and even meat analogs. However, we believe our technology is certainly dual or multi-use, and that we could also find happy homes for our fibers in the markets of medical technologies, making sutures, meshes, implants, and more, and of high-performance materials such as anti-ballistic gear and transportation or military fabrics. Irrespective of the target use case and market, we envision a two-pronged approach to further developing our technology and business. First, after producing our polymers in-house, we will contract with a third party for fiber processing and then sell that material primarily to other businesses to incorporate into the final product, establishing strategic partnerships to quickly integrate our technology into real-world solutions. Second, leveraging our expertise in protein engineering, we will work with our government and other partners to customize polymers and materials, tuning properties such as strength, material formulation, and even nutritional profile to better fit needs. Having demonstrated the incredible potential of our material in the lab, our next steps are to cycle through the process of market analysis and production scale-up to move from lab testing to proof of concept killer experiments and prototype development. Our near-term milestones are here. To navigate these steps, we are looking for strategic partners, advisors, and funding. We have the team pulled together to make this job, to get this job done, as well as a track record of working with the government and military in developing our technology. Thank you again, and I look forward to chatting with you in Philo later.
Fantastic. Great work, Cam. Thank you.
Thanks.
Up next, we will turn it over to Katrina from Team Energy.
Okay, can you hear me all right?
We sure can.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Katrina Cornish, and I'm the CEO of Energy, the future of rubber. Our mission is to safeguard the US economy and national security by sustainably producing US natural latex and rubber. It's not. Sorry, it's the slide forward thing's not working. Joy.
No worries. Take a second here if you want to on-screen share and then reshare again.
Yes, I'm going to have to. It's not progressing. Okay, sorry. Try this again. Hope you're not still timing this.
Nope, you're good. Take your time.
Okay. Okay, it seems to be working now. All right. Try that again. It was doing it until I shared it, then it stopped again. That's really odd.
That's okay. If you just want to do it in non-presenter mode, Katrina, that's probably fine too.
All right. Let's try that one. I don't know why this is doing this time. It was been fine before. All right, let's try another share. Try sharing the screen. Okay, so you could see this non-presenter mode, yes?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, this works perfectly.
Okay. Now, our problem is that we do not have our own natural rubber. And without natural rubber, the US economy and its defense collapse. Global supply chains are still disrupted. China controls 80% of global natural rubber production. This is 14 million tons per year of tropical natural rubber, which we need to make 50,000 different products. Clonal tropical rubber trees are highly susceptible to disease. In 2020, we lost 10% of the global rubber supply, which is more than the US imports. And 30 million Americans, including in the military, are at risk for life-threatening allergic reactions to current natural rubber products. So if we can put a man on the moon, we can do alternative natural rubber production in the US. And we choose to do this because the challenge is one we are willing to accept, which we must not postpone, and one which we intend to win, creating a secure US rubber industry, a great number of new entrepreneurial companies, tens of thousands of jobs, and supply chain security. 2 million acres of Waiuli in the semi-arid southwestern US would provide all the rubber the US currently needs and all the fuel the US military needs, which at the moment is 3.8 billion gallons, and we can rapidly expand from there. But what we need is to fund and build the first biorefinery. Now, Energy extracts latex from Waiuli, a domestic rubber crop, to create best-in-class and novel latex and rubber products. And we do this through crop process and product breakthroughs. We have 150 million viable Wayuli seed with double the yield of the publicly released cultivars. This is enough for 7,500 acres and 3 commercial-scale biorefineries producing latex and biofuel. Also, Wayuli is very resistant to disease, so crop failure is extremely unlikely. We invented a patented Wayuli latex extraction process with the unit ops proven for the biorefinery build. We've invented an allergy-safe material, and we've proved best performance in multiple critical products and novel applications. This is a very versatile polymer. How it works is we develop proprietary germplasm with higher yields. Then we extract the latex, and that latex can be moved directly into onshore critical product manufacturing facilities such as glove factories. We can convert that latex into solid rubber to make things like Navy jet tires. We can use the bagasse to valorize the rest of the crop, and the low-hanging fruit there is to turn it into bio-oil through pyrolysis. Best in class, this includes all types of dip gloves, surgeons, radiations, alignments, condoms, balloons, include everything from medical to meteorological, tires, I'm throwing tank treads in there, vibration isolators, this is all vehicles, including, and bridges and buildings. And in unique applications, we've developed a tracheal tube cuff, which prevents ventilator-associated pneumonia, proven in a pig model, particulate cleanup materials to get rid of those particulates left after dirty bombs or pathogen attacks, ultra cold flexibility polymers that are still malleable below 77 Kelvin, and designer macromolecular structures for new materials. And then we can co-produce a 50,000 joules per gram bio-oil, which can be upgraded to advanced transportation fuel like sustainable aviation fuel for a cost of less than $2 a gallon. Now, wouldn't that be nice? Purchasing is all US-based. We currently have pilot plant operations, but what we need at a minimum are take-off agreements to trigger investment for the first biorefinery. If this is not supported by Defense Procurement Act Title III or some similar federal program, we did qualify for that, but the money went away before it funded. It takes 2 years to initial commercial scale, and after that, you have daily production in perpetuity and profit or bank loan funded expansion to US independence and then exports. Cybersecurity readiness, well, all the basics things are in there. We realize with government projects, contracts, we would need to elevate that and would need help with that. And then here are some of our collaborators that have helped us with this. So this is what Energene's goal is: produce rubber in the United States and secure that supply chain. Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. Awesome work. All right, with that, we are halfway through our pitches in the main stage here, and I will turn it over to Prasanna from Sentient Biotechnology to go next.
Everybody see my screen?
We sure can.
Okay, great. So thank you so much. My name is Prasanna Gore. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sentient Biotechnology. And the focus of our company is really fighting antibiotic-resistant infections. So each year in the United States, we know that there are about 3 million antibiotic-resistant infections that lead to about 35,000 deaths and a staggering cost of $55 billion to the US healthcare system. So to tackle this, significant problem that has been identified the CDC as well as the WHO as major public health threats, we are developing powerful nanotherapeutics for the prevention and treatment of pathogenic skin infections using the power of bacterially derived nanoparticles. We have a dual-use technology, and initially we are focused on the superbug, which is called MRSA, or methicillin-resistant Staph aureus infections. We know that 19 million patients in the US have skin infections, and 80% of these skin infections are caused by the Staph aureus bacteria. About 6.5 million are caused by MRSA, which lead to about 325,000 deaths, hospitalized cases, and 11,000 deaths. The significance to the military is also very important. It also has close to 5,000 MRSA infections. Given the comparatively smaller size of the population compared to the US population. And moreover, the problem with the military for the MRSA infections is forced readiness. Sometimes you see this problem of MRSA in recruits, and then the military has to kind of retrain, so that adds to the cost and messes up the training schedule. So there's a lot of significance and importance of MRSA infections to the DoD also. We are developing two parallel platforms for developing selenium-based nanotherapeutics. One is our chemically synthesized nanoparticles, and the second one is our biogenic synthesized nanoparticles. Today, I'll be talking to you mostly on the biological platform in terms of how we use bacteria to produce nanoparticles. So essentially what we do is we take MRSA, we grow that in our patented bioreactor, and this process is going on continuously. We then add selenium salts to this culture of bacteria. The selenium ions then start causing an environmental stress on the MRSA bacteria. The MRSA bacteria has its own survival mechanism, and they start going through a process of detoxification, and they break down these selenium salts into selenium nanoparticles. And in doing so, the bacteria start coating these selenium nanoparticles by their own proteins. So essentially, we end up with a two-component nanosystem with a selenium nanoparticle core, which is coated by the protein corona of the bacteria itself. We then isolate these selenium nanoparticles, we purify them, and then we start putting them on wound dressings. Now, when you put this wound dressing on an infected wound that also contains the MRSA bacteria in that wound recognize those protein coronas on our selenium nanoparticles, and they think it's a friendly bacteria, it's a friendly particle. So we act like a nanometric Trojan horse. These MRSA bacteria in the wound let these selenium nanoparticles come into their colony. So once we enter that colony, we start releasing reactive oxygen species, thereby killing the MRSA bacteria. The friendly bacteria or the normal skin microbiome is not affected, or the healthy human skills are not affected, because they don't like growing next to foreign particles such as the selenium nanoparticles that we have. So essentially, the selenium nanoparticles are then cleared from the body, the natural microbiota can proliferate, and the MRSA is killed in the whole process. So you may ask, what is there right now to treat? So currently, most of the antibacterial or antimicrobial dressings that you see are dominated by topical antibiotics, silver dressings, or iodide or chlorhexidine, gluconate. What is our core advantage? We have several things that we are offering, but I'd like to highlight to you four main things. Silver is kind of the market leader right now with antimicrobial dressings, but we are seeing an emergence of bacterial resistance to silver. Our product does not contain silver. Competitors often are using antibiotic substances in their topical wound dressings. We do not use antibiotics, and thereby our product does not have a high risk bias in terms of creating resistance pressures in the environment. We also can use broad or specific approaches. For example, our chemically based selenium nanoparticles can be very broad spectrum, whereas the biogenic selenium nanoparticles are highly selective to a particular bacteria. And finally, our approach provides a suitable environment for wound healing, which is not recognized by the FDA in the use of silver or any other antibiotics in the wound dressings. Just a quick overview of our data. As you see out here on the left-hand side, you see the log reduction. We are very superior to silver compared to when we compared our data across a lot of the other bacteria. As you see in the center chart, in terms of antimicrobial resistance, SYNBAC, which is the lowest. So after 7 exposure cycles, our product did not develop resistance to MRSA. And finally, on the right-hand side, you'll see our chemically synthesized nanoparticles being used on surfaces, where you can see that our nanoparticles, have very little growth of Staph aureus compared to normal PVC, as well as the white bar, which is the silver PVC. We have a strong management team that brings, expertise across commercial, research and development, market access, as well as specifically in the wound care and the wound dressing area. Our co-founder, Thomas Webster, is a world-renowned expert in nanomedicine also. Finally, we are seeking investments to effectively compete in this multi-billion-dollar market. We are looking at a $3 million seed investment to fund our operations over the next 18 months. That will primarily fund our product characterization, prototyping, FDA pre-submitting, so on and so forth. In terms of potential funding sources, we are looking obviously at federal government and public-private consortia, followed by strategic partnerships, and then going into angels and VC rounds. We've initially been funded by a CC DSC grant of about $163,000, and then also very grateful to the NSIN Accelerator Acceptance Award of $15,000, which we are using to run our experiments currently. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please welcome to our booth. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Prasanna. Great work. Next, I will turn it over to the Empower Battery Technology team. So Natalie, over to you.
Hello, can you all hear me okay?
Yes, we can. We cannot see you though. I don't know if that's intentional.
Oh, I forgot to hit that. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Hi, we are Natalie Cohen and Ann Coe here to talk about Empower Battery Technology. We have developed a promising new battery anode, a small part of the battery making a big difference in performance. With our anode, we have created a safer battery that will charge really fast and last a very long time. This technology was created at The Ohio State University. Is this your fear? There's not enough time to recharge your battery when you're out and about. Unfortunately, when batteries are charged fast, they can fill to only half capacity. For instance, the Tesla Model S can charge overnight for 400 miles. However, the quicker Tesla supercharger can only charge it to 200 miles. In that same short
Natalie,
amount of time. Yes.
We're not seeing your slides right now. As a quick heads up, if you want to reshare your screen there.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Thank you.
Can you see it now? Still no?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, let me see. There we are. Okay.
Now we can see them. Yes. Perfect.
Okay. So in that same short amount of time, our battery is projected to safely charge to the full capacity of 400 miles. How does it work? Whoops. Let's back it up. Lithium ion is the top performing and most popular cathode for rechargeable batteries. Today's lithium ion cathodes are paired with graphite anodes. I'm sure you've seen these batteries on the news catching fire while charging. That's because when you take this lithium ion graphite combination and charge it fast, you grow lithium dendrites, also called lithium plating. These dendrites can short circuit the battery, causing thermal runaway and dangerous heat levels. Hello, fire. So everyone's afraid to charge their batteries fast. Our secret sauce is that our anode prevents these dendrites from growing. How do we know? We charged our batteries 3,000 times with no detectable dendrite growth. Nada, nothing. So now you can charge fast and you have a safer battery. My iPhone is 3 years old and the charge only lasts a half day. Time to get a new battery. You might have the same problem with your electric vehicle. When we eliminate the dendrite growth, heat dissipation and stability are improved and the battery doesn't break down. Because of that, the Empower battery will last at least 5 times longer than the current lithium-ion battery. And for those of you doing the math, 3,000 battery cycles translates into 1 million miles of fast charging. We plan to create the anode material as a drop-in to the battery manufacturing process. Therefore, the batteries will meet all safety requirements and certifications. Our anode costs are similar to existing anode materials, but typically the anode is only 11% of the full battery cost. So you get a good bang for your buck with our anode. So far, our technology has been proven in a coin cell battery. Our data has attracted further scaling for use with large drones and cars. We are scheduled to grow the battery size each year. With the help of Honda Motor Company, by year 3, we plan to have a pouch cell ready for EV testing. While we scale this technology, we can fulfill smaller applications much sooner, such as wearables, sensors, and rechargeable tools. We see this technology working quite well for small drones because the fast charge eliminates the manpower needed to swap out the batteries. The fast discharge creates better aircraft maneuverability and better tool power. And the high energy density allows for longer battery life, such as longer drone missions. This battery is ideal for any small application. Please send us your specifications. Several other battery companies are working toward the same goal. So far, many of their solutions are costly and difficult to manufacture. Some of the solutions use scarce materials. Our materials are earth abundant. We charged our battery 3,000 times with no sign of deterioration, so that number can go even higher. The energy density column refers to how long your battery will last between charges. We project we can charge twice as fast as the Tesla Model S, even with its fastest supercharger. Tesla states that its battery will last 1,500 cycles. However, that may be referring to using the overnight charger, not the fast charging supercharger as our battery would be using. Dr. Ann Coe is our lead scientist. She has a 20-year history in energy sciences, including the National Research Council of Canada and Harvard University. I have many years of manufacturing experience, including government sales. In summary, this is a proven patented technology. The battery already exists, and we are working with Honda for the EV market. We are ready to create your prototype battery for your small application. Thank you, and please join us in our breakout room to learn more about our battery.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Natalie. Great work. We will now move on to our final pitch in this main stage before the second phase of this program today, and that will be Team Discipex. So Whitney, take it away.
Thanks, Jillian. I'll just share my screen here really quick. Okay, just a quick check. Can everybody see my slide and hear me?
Yep, we can.
Okay, awesome. So thanks everybody for attending our pitch today. I am Whitney Duffy, founder and CEO of Discipex LLC. We are an early stage R&D chemical manufacturing company. And what we like to say about Discipex is because our chemistry disappears, so does your problems. So to begin, the first problem I want to speak about is the procurement of weapons and systems, as well as R&D of weapons and equipment in the US military. So we spend much time and money on our weapons and equipment in the US. It's arguably why we're so great and why we can argue we're the best around. The true problem here is if we lose these military IPs in combat, it's famous for being reverse engineered by our competitors and by our enemies. Another problem here is the number of handoffs between manufacturing of these weapons and the distributions of these weapons as well. It's a competitive disadvantage to our warfighter, and we have a disadvantage against our near peer adversaries. I'm not going to speak about the public advanced manufacturing initiatives in our pitch today, but please visit us at the booth for more information on these public manufacturing initiatives. So one specific use case of our material is the case of a drone. So if you can imagine a military US surveillance drone, this case, let's say it's from the Navy. We manufacture this drone from materials we have available from the US today. We release it from a UAV. We use the drone in combat. Let's say the Navy flies it about 40,000 feet over a Chinese aircraft. The drone performs its function. It sends back our info, but it's not returned to the UAV. Here far on the right, I'm showing you a specific case where a US surveillance drone, just like this example I've mentioned today, is not recovered, and it's taken by our enemies, this time Iran. It's fully back up and functioning, and Iran says, instead of using this just for surveillance, we're going to use it for bombing runs as well. So this is very clearly a case where it becomes a national security issue, and all this time and money the US spends on our military IP, we take 20 steps forward and 50 steps back. So here at Discipex, we like to say we quite literally want this problem to disappear. So what we mean by that is, imagine the same case of the drone. It's manufactured differently this time. So instead we use Discipex resin for manufacturing. We use the drone in the Navy, we fly it, it sends info back to us just like we did before. But instead, since we manufactured this drone with our Discipex resin, we fly this drone into water. It's not recovered, but since we did fly it into water and we use Discipex resin, fractions of that drone disappear. So the sensitive pieces that are around that would enable manufacturing and reverse engineering of our drone is now completely prevented, because you can't reverse engineer something that is no longer there. So how it works is Discipex, again, is an early stage R&D chemical manufacturer of resins that degrade in water at controlled times after being manufactured. So what Discipex sells you is a liquid resin. We also like to term this our magic potion. So we sell this to the customer. They 3D print it or manufacture it with any light-based polymerization source. So this is not just exclusive to 3D printing. And all it requires from the customer is simply a body of water. Discipex in our chemistry is truly what allows this complete control over the time it takes for the material to disappear. And the way that Discipex does that is solely in our IP. So we convert raw materials to this disappearing resin. And what we've done to do that in our IP is create a brand new synthesis pathway, as well as brand new chemicals that have never been available before and are only available to Discipex specifically. So these chemistries are what's going to offer us our significant differentiation amongst our competition. And these differentiators that I want to mention today are, again, any light-based manufacturing source can be used. We don't require any harsh solvent or special waste treatment of our material. You just need water, and our material is bioinert. You have complete control over the rate of disappearance. You have retention of mechanical integrity during your degradation. And to touch back on the problems that I mentioned before, forward manufacturing is enabled with IP protection. So since this material can be additively manufactured, the AM capability reduces handoffs between manufacturing and the warfighter, which in turn reduces the time it takes the warfighter to acquire necessary tools. As well as the combination of these differentiators allows us to use light-based additive manufacturing in the field without compromising IP, which furthers the active request for forward manufacturing. So since we have complete control over our advanced chemistry and our customers are provided with freedom of manufacturing, we think there's several cases for dual use potential. I'm not going to mention these right now in this short 5-minute pitch, but please visit us in our booth with any potential applications you might have. We think we could be substantially changing in prototyping, medical, defense, self-healing applications, and many more applications. So getting started, we need you. What I mean by that is we are in search of collaboration on avenues to move forward to realize a potential product, whether it be through pilot applications or proof of concept. With that, I want to thank you today. Again, I'm a founder and CEO. Our co-founder and CTO will also be at the booth today to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Whitney. With that,
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. With that, that concludes our last pitch in the main session for today. However, next we invite all of you to join our sub pitches in our tech-based sub stages. You can do this by ending this Zoom meeting, navigating back to the Philo platform, and then joining one of our stages labeled either health tech, sensing, and comms, if that tech is of most interest to you, or energy, materials, and maintenance. Each Philo room will function just like the one you just joined for this opening session. You can click on join room and then the join meeting button to join the meeting that's in progress. And don't forget, after watching those pitches, our conference floor will be open and you'll have the opportunity to choose your own adventure by meeting with any of our teams one-on-one in their own booths to ask any questions or learn more about their technology. And if at any point you're confused or don't know where to go, this main stage will be converted into a tech support room. So feel free to pop back in here if you have any questions about the agenda or about using the Philo platform throughout the event. So with that, thank you all again for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at one of our sub stages for the remaining pitches here shortly, and then afterwards in our team's Philo booths for open networking at the end. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you out there.